I'm Tiziana Dearing. You are listening to Radio Boston. Shifting gears to Christmas tree shops, which are closing for good. It is the end of an era of bargains, of kitsch, campy architecture for the chain, which was founded here in the Commonwealth. Well, Boston-based stand-up comedian Ken Reid is feeling some kind of way about it. So are we. Ken, welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me. Although a sad day.
I know. Well, I have to admit, I had kind of seen you all over the place about the demise of the Christmas tree shop, social media, local television. I did not see that coming.
Oh, really? I don't read as a local retail fan?
Well, especially like sort of the Christmas tree shops. I got to talk about this guy.
I'm not an auntie. I don't look like I'd buy nutcrackers that look like surfers.
I take it you have bought nutcrackers that look like surfers
We all
before?
have. It's a New England tradition. I mean, I'm not buying everything with the seashells glued all over it, but Christmas tree shops, special place.
All right. So listen, you've started to describe it for those who had not yet had the Christmas tree shops experience and perhaps now will not. Tell people what sort of defines a Christmas tree shop.
It was incredibly New Englandy, and it was shops plural. So the first one opened on the Cape in 1970, and it was like a seasonal, selling penny candy and bargain stuff. You're buying swimmies and floats and that kind of stuff. They expanded in the 80s to be a local bargain chain. So it was like closeouts, and they sort of carved their niche being about New England. I don't think they thought of it as kitsch, but sort of like New England beachside decorations for every single holiday and discount stuff. So it was one of many places at the time you could go to get like seconds or cheap bargains, and it had such a unique New Englandy specific atmosphere there.
So it did sort of become the chain in the 70s. There was actually an original store that went all the way back to the 1950s. It was called the Christmas Tree Gift Shop in Yarmouth Port. And we looked back at a little bit of this. So I want people to know this is not what was supposed to happen. Of course, closings are never what anybody plans for. But back in May, we had first heard that Christmas tree shops were declaring Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And I'm going to play a little sound. We actually had the Boston Globe's Didi Coley on the show then, and she gave us a little more of this full history lesson here.
There were actually a single location called the Christmas Tree Gift Shop on Cape Cod in the 50s. And then a local family, the Bilezikians, bought it in the 70s, expanded it to 25 stores. Then it was for 17 years, from 2003 to 2020, owned by Bed Bath & Beyond, who, expanded it even more broadly across the country. Then it went back to a local company, and that's where they've landed where they are now.
Okay, and so at the time that they declared bankruptcy, Ken Reid, they said, well, we have 82 stores. We'll probably close about 10 of them. They took out a loan to aid in that bankruptcy. They were not able to pay off that loan. They were then not able to find a buyer. So now it's all going. So were you aware of that whole arc as it was unfolding?
Yeah, I actually follow that stuff really closely, weirdly. That's like my sports in a depressing way. But because I miss local chains, like every sort of store is owned by like 3 companies. Like we had Filene's and Jordan Marsh and all of these local department stores, and every city did. They're all owned by May Corporation, which is Macy's now. So if you're not being bought by one of the 2 companies that own all the brands, no one's there to buy you. It's the Christmas tree shops especially, I think, was sort of neither fish nor fowl in that they weren't big enough for it to be worth a major national corporation to buy it. But they were too big for any sort of local business, even like a collective, to buy 82 stores.
So this is what it got me to thinking about when we were getting ready to speak with you specifically on this, Ken, because, we talk with you and Bethany Van Delft about, we sort of take a humor lens at all kinds of things. And I remember having a conversation with the two of you about when it's okay to laugh about something that hurts, right? And this is an iconic piece of who we are, and it's people losing their jobs, and it's the dreams of a local business owner in the 1950s that's coming to an end. It is a painful and sad closing of a chapter. And there is this kind of kitsch, and we asked listeners at the time of the bankruptcy, so what did you buy? And somebody texted in about the plastic pink flamingos that they had in their front lawn. So there is also this kind of joy and bubbliness, and it's almost hard not to chuckle alongside it, even though it's sad in this moment. So what do you do with that? You're a comedian. What do you do with that?
No pressure there.
Right.
No, but I think it's good to sort of embrace the things we bought there, because one of the things that made Christmas tree stores specifically unique was that we associated it more than other stores with vacations or holidays.
It's true.
And so many of us still have those things we bought. You'll take out those Halloween decorations you bought or those Christmas decorations you bought and kind of focus on that, almost have a show and tell of the things you got there, because that's what we'll have to hang on to. I mean, the great thing about that place was you never went there with an intent. I think there aren't a lot of stores you just go in to just go to the store anymore. Like Target, you'll go, I'm going to buy a light bulb, and you'll come up with 8 things, but you at least pretend you're going for something specific. Christmas tree stores is like, I don't know, I'll just go walk around and whatever I buy, I buy. And I think a lot less kitsch and weird stuff's going to get purchased, because you're not going to go on Amazon to specifically buy pink flamingos if you're not me. So, it's sort of embracing and maybe take those things out of storage and sort of, showcase them.
And tell their stories behind them. All right. So back to Didi Coley from the Boston Globe, because she also reminded us about there was some interesting architecture from the Christmas tree shops.
The Somerville location has a clock tower. There's another one, I think, that's in Linfield with a lighthouse. They really were okay with having spaces that didn't look like what a big box store traditionally is.
Your favorite location?
My favorite location would be the Linfield one, because it was built to look like a lighthouse, because there was a long gone restaurant next to it called The Ship that was built to look like a ship. So they fit into those places. It was perfect. The Somerville one, I have a good place in my heart for, because it was Building 19 before it was Christmas Tree Shop. And before that, it was a Jordan Marsh. So it was just like this graveyard of local stores.
Of course, people who haven't been here long are like, what were those other names?
Right.
Right? And it is a graveyard, right? Those are all Filene's Basement. I jokingly asked you before we came on air, did you ever fight anybody for a wedding dress at Filene's Basement?
Yeah, I said yes, but not at Filene's Basement.
That's right. All right. So listen, in our last little bit, that's the other thing, right? So does the next the next company that moves into those spaces tear down the clock tower, right? Take down the lighthouse? Or is there a way to preserve at least the shells of these Christmas tree shops?
I think one good thing major corporations do is they know the goodwill that's earned when they keep those shells, like the Hilltop Cows. They all are alive and well. They're just spread out over various businesses. If a famous sign of a neon sign,
the Sitco
sign, like I don't even know who owns that now, but it's certainly not Sitco. So someone will come to the rescue of the clock tower or whatever goes into that building in Linfield, but it won't be the same. It'll be a shell, but it'll be there.
All right. This weekend, what one item from Christmas Tree Shop are you going to pull out?
That's a good question. I'll probably go and buy some soda. They always had some really weird, good sodas. Like Lemmy or Brownie, which was a caramel root beer, something like that. I'll stock up on
before they're gone. All right. Stand-up comedian, local comedian Ken Reid. Thanks so much.
Thank you.